Hi guys, this is Lashette from Creations, and I'm back with a new video. This is week 2 of the Past Lives Club September. Wow, so yeah, here we are. A very late week 2. But it is what it is. To explain, I think the delay is coming, I'm pretty sure, because I was faulty in my assumptions on how I should film this. And I thought it would be quicker and make for shorter videos if I unnaturally, I should say, before I put these away. If I didn't film while I was doing the readings, if I just do it afterwards once I've come to my conclusions. I think I said that in week 1. However, we got to week 2 and I didn't film right away. I didn't even get to write down my thoughts, and that led to me moving on mentally, and then coming back a week later and realizing I forgot half of what the cards I drew were for, which I'll get back to later. And also, yeah, the big thing was just I moved on mentally, and so I was already a week behind. Now I'm 2 weeks behind, and yeah, life things happened. So these are all of the decks I used, the Spirit Keeper's Tarot being the main one from the first week. So you'll remember. Also, I will tell you what decks I used for each category. In the week 2, we are looking at are hyper focusing on 3 of the next categories: identity, time frame, and location, which I kind of had a ball with. Over here is the digital journal, the companion. I'm using Samsung Note, and like I said, the journal, the companion that Amethyst Ascension created, who also created this exercise. Like, I don't know why. Okay, so identity had 6 questions, and you remember the Hector was the card that I pulled for identity in the Spirit Keeper's Tarot here. The deck I decided to use was the Buffy Tarot for this. I don't exactly remember why, other than relative ease of use. This is an easy reader for me, and you know, I love Buffy, so why not? There were 6 main questions with 6 cards, and I put them in a formation under the Hector here, like so. How will I see myself? How did my partner see me in this life? How did my family and friends see me in this life? How did others, you know, people not super close, see me? How did I use my abilities and talents? And what was my life's purpose? So that seems pretty straightforward. And I think it was, though I did have some additional questions, which we shall get to. Please excuse any ambient noises. So for the how did I see myself, we had the Magician, and my thoughts were, like, I guess multi-talented, maybe magical, and helpful in many ways. How did my partner see me in this life? I've got the Knight of Stakes, and maybe a bit out of sorts, maybe a little bit too much of a storyteller. um, a creative and imaginative person, maybe childish and impulsive. Okay, then for how did my friends and family see me? The hangman, and I guess kind of out of sorts in a rut, like suspended in life, maybe kicking back. Um, at cross purposes, life on pause here with Spike. There we go. Then how did others see me? The lovers, and I honestly was truly impressed, I guess, or blessed with that idea. Like, wow. Um, Outsiders saw me as very, willing to give and share and communicative and be fair and balanced. To to give of myself and wanting the same of others. What? How did I use my abilities and talents? The sun, which also surprised me. I use them to like make life and the world brighter in a positive manner to empower, which I am all for. I hope to do the same in this life. Before I get to the last one, I also want to say that the hangman, it's kind of mirroring this life as well. Uh, so yeah, and then lastly, what was my life's purpose? And I had the five of chalices, which I found hilarious. It's just to be of service. And while I don't do true sidereal astrology, that type, like Rochelle does from Amethyst Ascension, I am a budding amateur astrologist personally, and I got a lot of planets and things in my sixth house of service. So that also like feels very um much a mirror of current life. Okay. So I was like, "Oh wow." But I wanted to know more. So I pulled more cards because that's the type of girl I am. However, like I said, I didn't always mark down what I pulled these cards for. This is my significant other. This is friends and family. This is outsiders, others. Excuse me. And why they felt that way about me? Cause these are questions I ask myself. Now, we're not gonna get into the self-esteem discussion. Yeah, why does my partner, my significant other, see me this way, and what traits show this or embody this? And I got the King of Pentacles, which I took as how like successful I am in life. I'm apparently a dedicated person in this life, maybe even a religious one with all of these crosses, but maybe not a protective one. And uh, my confidence as well. I feel like the King of Pentacles is really grounding this Knight of Stakes, which for me, I think would be seen as kind of wishy-washy, particularly this character. Um, but also the Knight of Stakes is like going off on feel and passion alone without much thought. And really quickly, and the King of Pencils is like, no, they see that I am grounded and, like I said, dedicated and practical and protective, and maybe even as a king, protective and supportive of others. Right? Okay, so same question for why do my friends and family see me this way, and what traits or whatever embody these feelings of the hangman, of suspension, of at loose ends maybe, or cross purposes. And I got the Nine of Chalices, a character I love, but I guess I'm enjoying life too much, according to the friends and family in that life, in this past life. I was having too good a time, and maybe random bouts of singing and dancing. Right? Just good feelings, good vibes, good relationships. I don't know. And lastly, for this extension, why do other people, outsiders, not that close to, see me this way, and what traits show or embody this? Like, why do they see me as the lovers? And I got Justice, which is a big ass deal. So is the lovers, and wanting that fairness. I think that's where I got that from. The how I am all about balance and fairness, and making sure to apologize if I'm wrong, to atone, and thinking of others always. Like I said, very reassuring for me anyway. So as I mentioned, I did have other questions and I wrote them down, but I didn't answer them in order. So it was hard to pull up answers later because I didn't write them down. I didn't record them. So it was very frustrating. I'll show you the spreads because obviously I haven't written anything. So I pulled cards because I had more questions about my identity with the Hector in general, and I can tell you what those are in 1 second. So yeah, this is in OneNote. I wrote them down, but like I said, I didn't take them in order, and I was like, what was my job, work, or career? What were my hobbies? Was I a witch, a practical magical practitioner, or a cultist? Why did they see me that way? Was I a coward? Was I a warrior? What political influence was upon me? What were my talents, abilities, and skills? Where was I in the social classes? Did I portray someone, or did someone betray me? The yellow highlighted were the ones I know I answered first, but again, I don't remember what order, because I wrote these down as I was thinking of them. But I didn't pull cards in the order that the questions were. I kind of grouped them, or I attempted to, in order of use, I guess you could say. So, moving right along, what I was able to look into more was my talents, or abilities and skills. That one I knew, or I remembered properly, I should say. And I got a lot of cards that were looking awfully familiar at this point. Towards the end, like, hello, we already answered this question. Why are you bothering us with this? Here we go. So Right. So what were the sun card was about my talents and skills, right? I was curious because it didn't seem clear to me what those talents and skills were. I got the Five of Chalices, the Knight of Stakes again, and additionally the Page of Pentacles. So I took this as, the being of service was a skill, not something to be poo-pooed or laughed at, which I can appreciate. And especially, I guess, emotionally, to an extent, being there for others, even when my cup runneth over. The creative projects also was a skill, so bringing those back from the original 6 questions and seeing that my partner recognizes this skill, talent, or ability, and trying new things, right? Having that youthful mindset. All of these are. So, again, that's really cool to learn about this life. The next category was time frame. And I don't know if you guys remember, I had a good old time with time frame, right? I used the Only Time Will Tell Oracle cards and the Black Moon Astrology deck here. As you'll remember, I first pulled the 2-day card from the Only Time Will Tell Oracle, and I was confused, and so I pulled another, and it said the same as last time. And I realized that had to do with the Hector, and looking up when the Trojan War was. It is 12th to 13th century AD. And the Herald of the Flame I had decided was like my age in life, or age range, which is pretty young. So again, I had a little bit of some difficulty with these. I tried using just the Only Time Will Tell Oracle, but it wasn't working. But for time frame, there was 3 questions, and the first was, what was the theme of this time period? And I got Aries, I am, and 3 months. I took that to mean like short periods of time marked with upheaval, lots of changing, considering the 12th to 13th century. Like, it could be the decline of the Toltec people, possibly at war with the Aztecs. It said that the Aztecs were very good at battle, and they came from the north and took over the Toltec people's villages or towns, and including the site of where Mexico City currently is. So we'll get to location later. Second question, what were the major challenges then? And I got Mercury, the mind, and 5 years. So, yeah, there could have been arguments about leadership and innovations and the communication. And communication, excuse me. Something very mental, since we got Mercury. There could have been a major challenge. 4 or 5 years, or after 5 years, whatever have you. The 12th to 13th century is like the beginning, the end of the Toltec people's time. And we don't have a lot of information, but we do know that the Aztecs started in the 14th, at the very beginning of the 14th century. Like I said, arguments amongst leadership and something about innovations, about thoughts, beliefs, maybe even, but also, like I said, Mercury involves travel as well, so could be about the Aztecs coming or about how the Toltec people got there. Maybe they feel they need to move on, or maybe they felt they needed to stay. And lastly, the last question was, what phase of time was I in? I wasn't 100% sure of that question, but I got Cancer, I feel. And this could mean during Cancer season, which is in July, but June, July. I also got Winter, which is the opposite. I could look into astrology to get a better idea of that Cancer Winter connection. But it feels like the needs of the people that weren't being fulfilled necessarily, and the feelings of the people weren't being considered. Thought was over emotion, and there war, strife, arguments seemed more like a thing. And the winter feels more like the end. So that's why I feel like maybe I was young towards the end of the reign, for lack of a better term, of the Toltec people, the winter season, the decline, if you will. So that's my location. All right, lastly, we have that was my time frame, Jesus. Now, lastly, we have the location, which, I pulled up in week 1, the wisdom card, which, ignoring that word, I was just like underwater. And then I pulled the Scarlet Shield because that wasn't enough for me. And this is the card that pointed to Mexica Tenochtitlan. And I'm still not exactly sure how to pronounce that. But it is where modern-day Mexico City, the capital of Mexico, is located. Alright, so I went ham with this, even though it's only 3 questions. I wound up pulling 3 cards for each question, and I came back to the Sacred Destinies Oracle. That's where this card is from, and Spirit Keeper's Tarot. But then I also was like, I need something for the sea, and my recent purchase of the Sea Soul Journeys Oracle was added in. Okay, I'll put these on the screen probably one at a time, meaning one for each question, to save space. So I got, for the first question, what was the energy of that place? I got Purity, which was fascinating. I got the Hector, which, there he is. Wow. And I wonder what it means that my identity is tied to the energy of that place. And then I got reflect. Hold on. Okay, I didn't take a lot of notes on these in the companion, but in my regular divination journal. So purity, the Hector, which is Five of Swords, and reflect, may you discern and distill. The purity. Oh, this is. Oh yeah, what was the energy of that place? Like, not me, but the this fresh fallen snow, untouched feeling, and there's a pureness to this place, a respect for strength, it seems, but also kind of maybe some freshly hidden issues, given that the Hector is the Hector, and some overcoming of strife. It's just the energy of it was a reflection of the times of strife, of the things that we've possibly gotten over or moved along from. So I'll come back to that second. The next question was, how did the people treat each other? I got the gateway. The champion. Six of Scepters. And clear. If I can get it on here. And the gateway is kind of like very, well, not kind of like, it's very spiritual. It's like that kind of gateway, a connection to an other world, a place of magic and that kind of thing. With the champion, I got the people being, how do they treat each other? Kind of focused on magic, on the other worlds, maybe even magical beings or animals, and magic-based success, respect for those who sacrifice for others, like the Six of Scepters, or going through a gateway. And I mean, I think it's clear, pun intended, but that it's pretty straightforward. They're pretty straightforward people. That's how they treat each other. You uplifted those who were successful, particularly, I think, in the spiritual communication, possibly, or spirit travel, and maybe just in general, those who fight for the people are uplifted. And the last question was, what was the government like? And I got forgiveness, which I thought was very interesting for a government entity. The burdened one, which also very interesting for a government entity, but more fitting, at least in my human experience. And begin. May you start as if you have already begun. So I took this as this government was overburdened by the past, possibly that past strife, possibly overburdened by the wanting to smooth things over and bring in that purity, right? Pushing for that. Let's put aside, the issues from before and move on. It seems like they're doing too much. They are overburdened in general. Also seeming to be in charge of rehabilitation for this forgiveness aspect. So like forgiving the past, letting go of the past is a priority for the government, but also like I said, in charge of rehabilitation, of judging, and being judge, jury, and possibly executioner. Worried about past struggles returning. When new times are coming, wanting to focus on the future and like I said, that purity, but knowing that, the past and still has an effect and potentially wanting to ignore that fact. Not a great thing. So that was the last of these. At the time, I couldn't think of more questions, so which was for the best, because I think I overdid it with identity questions. I mean, honestly, who doesn't want to know more about themselves most, right? So, yes, I am continuing this practice. There will be a week 3, actually. I thought about including part of that here, but I'm not going to because I think that would be too much for me. But yeah, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you are new, hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is coming. I'm also doing Thoughttober by Ever Onward if you're interested in that. Yeah, subscribe. I don't do regular like weekly tarot oracle videos most of the time, but 'tis that time of year and the urge is there, so I thought why not share some of the stuff. So yeah, guys, links in the description to all of the decks and the announcement video, even though it's now October. If you want to do this, you can do this whenever. And guys, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.